Organistas, welcome to the channel Forever Orchids. My name is Tracy. I am so glad that you are an orchid lover and orchid enthusiast just like I am. I am going to repot a Bulbophyllum today. At least I think I am. I received this Bulbophyllum from a friend and I have just let it sit for several months because I have not been sure what to do with it. And I wanted to see what was going to happen with it. The pseudobulbs are shriveled more than I would like for them to be. I mist this every day. All of these aerial roots get misted with water every day. But the great thing is there's new growth coming out everywhere. And so I thought, okay, I really do need to film and let you guys see this plant and you guys watch me repot this. So I haven't had time to do that, so I've put it off and I've put it off and I've put it off. But today, we're going to tackle this together. Another reason why I have been unsure as to what to do with this plant is I have really no idea the best way to pot this up. This is a Bulbophyllum. This is Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry. This has an FCC by the American Orchid Society. And let me go to the overhead camera and let's show you what this looks like down inside here, okay? All right, can you see down in here? Look at that. It's sphagnum moss. A little bit of sphagnum moss was put in the bottom. Now this is a rambling plant. So just not a whole lot of sphagnum moss. They used, whoever repotted this years ago, I'm going to say years ago because I think the person that gave me this division here said they had just left it just the way the person gave it to them in the Orchid Society. So I'm going to take out the rhizome clip here, and here's my little dirty little tray. Any media can fall out. Okay, I'm hearing some rocks. All right, so they weighted it down with rocks. And there we go. So it had some rocks in the bottom of the pot with some sphagnum moss. All those rocks. And this sphagnum moss to me is just rotted, dried, not any good. We'll see if I can't get some of that out. I did not soak any of this here, so these roots are kind of fragile. Maybe dead. Probably. Probably dead. We're just going to get in here and look at this plant together. We've got dried pseudobulbs here. We can definitely cut out. Now what I'm going to need to do here, okay, so get this baby apart here. You kind of see down in there the different directions that it was growing. Like I said, this particular Bulbophyllum, it rambles. A lot of times these are great for baskets. I might put this in a basket actually. Let's look at this together. Let's get this cleaned up first. So I'll move this out of the way for a second here and get my propane torch. Propane, I've got like a little butane torch. Now this particular one, I've got a description for it down in the, excuse me, not a description, a link to purchase this down in the description. I've given you some links on Amazon so you can go and purchase the products that I use. Makes it really simple for you. There we go. And I'm going to sterilize my tool here, just a little prune and shears from Fiskars. Got that down in the description as well. I don't have to get this glowing red, but I do want to give it probably about 20 seconds of good flame here to get it hot, to kill any viruses, to kill any bacteria, any fungus from the last plant that I used this on. We don't want to transfer anything to our new plant that we are working on. Also, by heating up your blades here, when you make a cut, especially if you're going to cut into live tissue on your plant, you're going to actually cauterize your cut. And I'm just going to find all of this dead pseudobulbs in here, get them cut out. Down under here with some of this dead rhizome. Let's see where this leads us here. Where's all of this at? Looks like to right here. Cut that out. Okay, so now to my knowledge, I don't see dead pseudobulbs, dried up, shriveled yellow pseudobulbs. I'll continue to get some of this moss out of here. What I plan on doing is repotting this into sphagnum moss. Now, I do have a basket. I might end up putting it in a basket. I don't typically have in my growing environment any of my plants in a slat basket. And the reason why I don't do that is my watering schedule, my environment in the wintertime, I cannot keep the humidity where it needs to be for a plant that is in such an open, airy media or product. So a lot of times I will keep things that need a lot of moisture. I will keep them in plastic because that plastic will retain moisture during the wintertime. This was in plastic. Even if I potted it like this back in the same pot, I've still got growth coming off the side of it. Probably would still be better than what it was because it can still have, it can still get more moisture because it'll be around sphagnum. Now, because this bulbophyllum is so rambling, look at how far apart on the rhizome the pseudobulbs are. They are a good 1.5 inches. So I've thought about putting it into some shallow, because bulbophyllums don't have deep roots, so you can definitely go into shallow pots. And I've thought about putting it into a shallow pot. Let's see what we got going here. I don't know if that new growth here is actually going to go anywhere. I do have one here growing. So I could put it in this one. That kind of gets me like that. Then I thought about a little bit larger size that maybe I can twist this around. Let's see here. Where's my new growth? There's one here, one here. I want to try to get these back bulbs to the back. Wait a minute, have we crisscrossed? Let me look at this thing here. Look at these rhizomes. Yeah, they sure have. They've crisscrossed each other. Oh, how many plants do I have here? Oh, this was 2 plants in here. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, this is the growth I'm not sure is going anywhere. All right, what do you guys think of this one? Debating on whether or not I should put it in this. All right, so that's what this looks like. Now let me go get the basket and let's see what the basket will look like if we put this plant in it. Okay, the slat basket is not going to work. It's just a 6-inch slat basket is all I have. And I think the way these rhizomes are, I'm not too sure I can get, maybe. As soon as I do that, then I'm already back to where I started, of growing quickly off of the basket and not having much room. So I think I may like this larger one here. Now that I figured out we have 2 plants. Okay. I might go back and crisscross them. I don't know. I'm trying to decide what is the best way. And that's one of the things that it's hard to determine when you're repotting what is going to be the best way to pot up your plants, especially when you have something that is rambling like this, that the rhizomes just are so far apart, and you know that that's just the way the plant normally grows. Tell you what I could do? Okay, so I could put this down and maybe have it growing in 2 different directions. And I don't want to bury these too deep. I have a new growth right here and a new growth here. I'm just checking to make sure this one didn't have any more. So that was 2 there. And 1 here. And I don't know, this one may come on out. I might just do that. Let's let it grow in 2 different directions. Then maybe I can start having a plant that will just have blooms coming out in different directions. How do we feel about this? Doesn't do anything about. I really want these roots to go down in sphagnum moss. And I've got some sphagnum moss soaking right here. So I'm going to start with a little bit down here in the bottom of this clay pot. Let's get a base going. And this has been soaking in sea kelp extract. And that way this will help this plant. Since we have shocked it now, pulling it out of the pot that it was in, we've disturbed the roots. And let's figure out what we're going to do here. Alrighty, so I've got this one that started to come up because this is where the pot was. If I can kind of, well, that quickly broke. Don't know if we have any eyes on this one here that it's gonna come out. Alrighty. This was all one plant. Following the rhizome here. Actually, I think it started from here and this split. Okay. And we mentioned maybe having it growing in 2 different directions. So I'm going to lay all of this down this way. Watching that new growth. Well, it's difficult. Sometimes repotting can be difficult. I think if we do this, now we can have this new growth coming up, this one coming here, this one's over here. The way I think it's going to end up going in the pot. Okay, like that. So now I'm going to just gently feel around all of these roots down in here with some loose sphagnum moss. And I can always go back in over the next couple of weeks with more sphagnum moss. I just want to work this sphagnum moss down into these roots here. And I'm going to plant this real loose sphagnum moss to start with. As this plant gets used to what's just happened to it, and I keep an eye on the growth here. I want to make sure too that I'm not covering up new growth, and I don't want to cover up because I do have on this new growth right here, I can see some tiny little roots coming out, which is a good sign. That lets me know it was okay to repot this. Not going to be the most attractive repot, but we're going to have to let this plant recover and just find its way and hopefully let it go ahead and start filling in the best it can. We'll keep an eye on it. I have a feeling it's just going to start growing off the pot really quick. Real quick. Yeah, see some new roots growing right here, coming out there. I'm doing this real gently because these roots are dry. I should have probably soaked these roots here. I don't want to break any more roots. You know, they're kind of fragile right now. Okay, let's see how that looks. And like I said, I can go back in over the course of the next few weeks, get some more sphagnum moss in here. And let some of this new growth and roots come on down and fill in this sphagnum moss. Okay. This is all that I'm going to do now. I think I like this. Now, what am I going to do with this right here? It's a good question. I am not sure. I'm going to look this over really well. I know these are green. They're desiccated, but I'm going to see if there are any new eyes on any of these pseudobulbs. Now, new eyes, what that would be is that would be a point of new growth to see whether or not I can get this to grow any more on this section, and then we can pot this up as well. And you know, it's just really iffy. There's only one leaf on here, and it's shriveled. Maybe the best thing to do with this, there's a method called bag and spag. You put some sphagnum moss in a bag, and you just lay your plant on there. The sphagnum moss, you keep it moist, and the sphagnum moss, by keeping it moist, there will be humidity that will come out around the plant. And when you have it in a bag, that also retains humidity so that the leaf now can absorb moisture. You can do that with a lot of plants that don't have any roots to them. And I don't know if these are pretty dry. These could very well be dead roots. This one looks a little live here, so I don't know if this can recover. We can try it. Another thing you can do is run down to your local gas station that has a convenience store that serves drinks that you can get, like a fountain drink. You can get sodas, you know, out of the fountain. They'll have clear plastic cups. You can use those, put a little sphagnum moss in the bottom, set your plant down in that, and that will also retain some moisture. And I might just try that with this one and see, just be patient with it and see if we can get any growth out of that one. Okay, so now we've got Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry. We've got her potted up here. I'm going to write on my tag here. And in fact, whoo, mercy, just flipped this over and looked at it. This type of tag is really old. I wish we could buy this, but we can't buy this anymore. I would love to find these type of pots. Okay, what does it say here? 2 in same pot. Okay, so they knew that this had 2 pots in it. But the date on the back of it of when this was repotted was in 2017. My goodness. Yeah, it needed some help, didn't it? So I'm going to put down here that I repotted July of 2024. And put this down here in my pot. Let me find, let's see here. We've got growth here, growth. So I'm going to start over here with it for now. Okay. And I will show you the bag and spag method in another video. I'll show you some of the plants that I have done that to in a cup and showing you their updates on that, and pot this one up, and we'll show you that in another video. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for joining me as I potted up and tried to figure out and hopefully let you kind of see the thought process of how we go about repotting orchids that are rambling as much as this does, have points of different growth. The rhizomes are pretty far apart. This could have been mounted actually, but in my environment, I don't water um, mounted orchids indoors on a regular basis. I don't have too many of them. I've only got 2, 3 that are mounted on cork. They don't get watered as often as they should. This one just happened to sit in a place in the pot that it was in a place that I walked by multiple times throughout the day. So I made sure that I watered those roots every morning. Hopefully the sphagnum moss here now will get some of that moisture retained. I won't have to water this one every single day. But I can't do that with the number of orchids that I have. I cannot have them all mounted. And in the wintertime, I just don't have the humidity to maintain that. So this is why I chose to pot this up in a shallow bulb pan. You can see how shallow this is. It's only a couple inches, but it's pretty wide as well. So until next time, guys, happy orchid growing. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, bye.